My name is David Hargrave. I provide exterior cleaning services and handyman services to residential and commercial customers here in northern Napa Valley, California. While I was looking for a better and easier way to clean gutters due to a previous shoulder injury, I found the Gutter Provac and started to really understand what problem I wanted to solve. There are a couple companies who are in this equipment space, and I looked at both very closely, spoke with the owners, both at length. Clearly, they had both been in the business for some time, but it soon became clear that they would service two different segments of the market. Once I looked at the equipment side by side, sure, there was a weight issue, but the power of the Gutter Provac system seemed to be just as much suction, if not more, as the competitor. And yes, the competitor uses lighter weight materials, but I beat my equipment up, and I was aware that carbon might break and splinter. I think first and foremost, the price. I struggle with paying nearly 4 times the competitor's price, knowing how long the return on that investment would take. Gutter cleaning is not the only service I provide. The competitors seem to be serving a larger, wealthier, more institutional organizations. I have paid for the Gutter Provac outright after 8 houses. I ordered it in early September of 2019. It arrived 3 days later, and I've been using it ever since. I typically charge based on $1 per linear foot for first story, $2 per linear foot for second story, and $3 per linear foot for third story. I could have bought a smaller one that has 5,500 running watts, but I bought something that will allow me to use it for different jobs. I live in Northern California, and occasionally I'll power my house with it, but it purrs right along. This is the Predator 8750 from Harbor Freight. This particular house was typical for my area at about 2,800 square feet, with guttering on all 4 sides and one side that has 3 stories. This house is nestled amongst a number of oak trees and has different levels of roofs, making it potentially problematic. The great thing I've learned with using the Gutter Provac, it allows me to speed up the gutter cleaning process and cut down on my time on the job. At this house, I was packed up and ready to leave after 2 hours and 15 minutes. Normally this job would take me 3 to 4 hours up on a ladder cleaning it by hand, and the homeowner paid me $285. Number 1, the gutters are cleaned from safety of the ground. Number 2, we can clean up to 3 stories high. There's no mess. Debris haulage is included. We minimize liability risks. No ladders involved. Annual service plans offered. Completely portable. No power source required. Yes, when I'm doing a house in a street and the neighbor sees how I'm doing it, I end up getting more jobs as a result. And now I'm going to use it in my advertising as a tool. If it is stuck in the hose, I will disconnect the poles from the hose and put my hand over the end of the hose to create more suction. If it is in the poles, I do the same thing as well as tap them on the gutter or a hard surface. Then I will disconnect the hose and reconnect it to kind of shock the debris. But this doesn't happen too often and is pretty easy to work through. No, it really depends on the house, but frankly, I take on the jobs I know I can use the equipment on because I don't want to use a ladder. So what I do is when I'm sucking the stuff out of the gutter, I'll set it in and I'll flick it forward, and it kind of loosens up everything that's in the gutter and pushes it forward, and it sucks up as I do that. And when I go so far, like between hangers, I'll go back to the first one, and then I'll just set it down in the gutter, and I'll just, come all the way through and clean up what's left.
hoses, the poles, the bucket, all of it. And then I'll put the head back on the bucket, but I'll leave the filter out. That way the filter dries, because I'll go 2 or 3 days without using it and there's still water in the bottom of the bucket. And I don't want the wet filter sitting in there not being able to dry, because that's the only airflow that's on the unit.